Hello and welcome, bros, to the Investing Bros. Tis I, Tshroom, coming at you live, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've pushed the show forward in time for a lot of different reasons, but we're really glad that you're bearing with us here, being a little bit flexible for the bros. Go ahead and smash that like button. We're going to be getting into some very, very bullish Bitcoin news, and Crux is also going to be bringing us some interesting news on altcoins. It's all on the other side of the intro. Smash the button like and Well. How you doing, Crux?
Hey, what's going on, Tshroom? Nice to be here. Hey, I love this new showtime. I'm super bullish on, for me, it's 8 a.m., an hour before 7 a.m. Super early for me. I feel like a whole different individual. Like I'm ready to go. I'm motivated. I'm not sluggish. But more importantly, Bitcoin's pumping. This weekend, I spent it definitely watching a lot of fights, a lot of good boxing going on, a lot of good UFC matches. And, it's kind of motivated me a little bit, and on the other side, I spent a little bit on.
Uh-oh. Think we lost him there. Not sure what happened. There. Crux, are you back? Are you back with us?
I am back.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had a couple issues this morning where I keep getting rugged. Hopefully it'll fix itself. But yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking, Tshroom. How are you doing?
I'm doing better than I deserve, Crux. I really, really am. So what I want to do now is go ahead and jump on into the bubbles. We'll take a look at the charts, and we'll start here with the bubbles. Leading 24% to the upside. I've got H-bar also up 39%, if you can believe it, doing some really good work there. CASP up 10.5. XLM following in the footsteps there of XRP, as one could predict, up 20.7%. XTZ, Tezos up 15.9% here, and Render getting a little bit of a head start on the NVDA earnings coming later this week on Wednesday. Render getting a bid up 12.8% here in 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Let's see what else we got. GOAT, we do have some losers. The meme coin GOAT here down 14%, as well as PopCat down 8.5%. So it's not decisively green across the screen, but it is mixed, and the coins that are getting a bid in a major way. H-bar, of course, being the chief among them, looking really, really nice there. Atom up 6%, Link up 4.6%. Let's go ahead and take a look at Core Scientific is actually what I have pulled up here. This is a Bitcoin mining company, and they're doing really, really well off of the 4-hour here. You can see that they're jumping up off of the 0.88 Fibonacci. So you go ahead and check that out for yourself and see if that might be something you want to take a look at. I've got also Bitcoin here pulled up, and as you can see, we are now ranging inside of this triangle here. This could be bullish. This could be a major breakout that could get us up to $100,000 per coin if the bulls decide that this is the time to buy. There is some indication here. I'm on the 4-hour that we're undecided, though. We just don't know exactly if we're underbought or overbought. We have zigzagged once, twice, 3 times, and now again we are reversing again. The bulls saying not so. We're losing momentum, and the bears saying, yeah, not so fast. Come on back down in terms of momentum, right? So that's kind of the way that I'm reading it right now. This is it's tough to call whether or not it's bullish or bearish. I'd say overall here we are getting histograms kind of trend, the red histograms cooling off and trending towards the upside here. However, if as we continue to look deeper into the MACD, these lines are continuing to point down, and what was going to be a curl here on the 4-hour ended up just continuing to the downside. So that's just momentum. That's not price, right? But as we zoom back out and we look at price, it's undetermined, and more than likely when we break out, we're going to break out big in one direction or another, right? So be careful. There's going to be some volatility here. My advice is to stay calm and hodl what you got, what you're invested in right? But if you're trading, is be looking for a big move. Probably, if maybe not today, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Could be in for a pretty big volatile week. Let's take a look at Ethereum here, and we are seeing something similar, right? A bit of consolidation here, and this one is looking like a descending triangle. So overall here, there's not a extremely clear direction for the markets for the rest of the week. It's consolidating. You'd have to say that it's going to be bullish because of the fundamentals, the fundamental news that we're going to be getting into here in just a few minutes. When we turn on LuxAlgo, we see that on the 4-hour, we've been hugging the premium zone here, right? So that does scream overbought in some sense, and that would be in line with what we are thinking about Bitcoin overall. But is it too overbought, right? That's the question, because just because it's overbought doesn't mean it's too overbought. After all, it is Bitcoin, and it is Bitcoin post-Trump election. Looking at the reversal cloud, we actually see that there's an argument to be made that Bitcoin is actually cooling off and getting less overbought, meaning that there could be in store another big move to the upside as the oscillators reflect that eventually. They're not getting that reflected quite yet, meaning it's not showing that the overbought status is cooling off quite yet, and that's mainly but I can kind of start to see that here as you've seen Bitcoin kind of pull away from the reversal clouds there from LuxAlgo. So out on the daily, we may see something a little bit different, and indeed we do, because Bitcoin is squarely in those reversal clouds. In fact, it's kind of right now playing with whether or not it's going to close candles above the second level of that reversal cloud, or if it's going to stay in the bottom level of that reversal cloud. So either way, there's a lot of, again, consolidation here and compression and ready for the next big move for Bitcoin. And then it's tough to say exactly which direction it's going to go. We are seeing a clearly overbought signal here from the hyperwave on LuxAlgo oscillator matrix for Bitcoin on the daily chart. But we've seen this before. We've seen levels like this before. One in recent memory here was before we got into this March, and then we got into this range. We did see this signal back here that showed overbought, similar to what we're seeing now, right? So we were overbought here, and yet we continued to pump much, much higher. So could that be what's in store for us next? It's not exactly clear, but in any case, I'm continuing to hold what I've got. MACD on the daily, let's take a look here, and we are seeing that MACD line go ahead and curve over. Could this be something that reverses and goes back the other way? No indication of that yet. What we are seeing is that line is starting to curl over, and that could potentially spell the beginning of a serious correction to the downside. We saw something similar back here. Let's take a look and see how it played out. So right here, yeah, so we had a correction. The last time the MACD signals were giving us a similar pattern, we saw a 16 in some change. You could even call it 17 down to the wick percent correction to the downside. Again, just purely off of the MACD line analysis. Last time we saw a correction above 4,000 for the MACD, there was a move back lower. So indicators, there's definitely a lot of indicators showing me that Bitcoin is overbought. It kind of makes sense that it's overbought, but is that enough for bulls to say we're going to stop buying? Is it enough for bulls to start taking profit? I don't know about that yet. We'll just have to continue to watch the rest of this week and just see how things play out. There's a couple of altcoins that I do want to do some TA on, and so we're going to do them right now. We actually have a good little bit of time, Crux. What are your thoughts, though, on Bitcoin here? Do you think that we break out of this triangle to the upside or the downside? What's your gut telling you?
If you want to share my screen real quick, Tshroom.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking currently, I posted this, I want to say, 7 days ago or so, but if Bitcoin continues to range between 92,000 and 87K, a mini alt season can start. This is because whenever Bitcoin consolidates, especially in price discovery, that's whenever alt seasons typically happen. So we know Bitcoin went up to, this should say 93K, and then went down to 87K, and now we're having this sideways action between these, going up, setting a lower high, coming back down, setting a higher low. And as long as we're ranging, alt season is going to continue to pump. We see all these new projects like I think Moonwalker. He mentioned Mantra earlier, and we'll talk about it a little bit a little bit later on the stream. But I'm super bullish. I think during this entire cycle, this is one of the most bullish periods I've been in, other than maybe 2 weeks ago. But we're still in the extreme greed zone and the fear and greed. And yeah, the current state of the market's beautiful.
Cool. I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's definitely not a time to start heavy selling and heavy profit taking, in my opinion. I think that there will be a next leg up to this market. Remember, 2025 is really, really bullish. There's a lot of reasons to be bullish in 2025. We're not even there yet. We're not even in December of 2024. So, lot of volatility ahead. It's not going to be easy, right? But there is a lot of light at the end of the tunnel for sure, and we're already swimming in it. We're already swimming in it, in the profits, many of us. Let's take a look at Mantra here, and you'll see right away that this coin has been getting bought quite aggressively over the last couple of days. We saw the first decisive green candlestick here back on the 14th of last week, and since then, I'll go to the top of this candlestick. Since then, we've been up 162%, 173 from the wick. And Crux, you mentioned that you had called this one out last week, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So
if you want to bring my screen up real quick.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to quickly go through it. So on the 31st of October, so around Halloween, I called this mantra play. So what I typically do is a couple times a week, I'll drop a project quick dive for the members. It's the lowest tier, the basics tier. And I called a buy. And the reason that I called a buy on this is the number one leading real world asset play. So I found a niche that's working. I went into the website, the team tokenomics. I looked into their white paper roadmap, all these things that make a project a good project. And I determined at that point, I think it's worth buying. And at that point, 14 days ago, it was down 2x. So if you would have bought, whenever I made this call, you'd be up 2x. So it was a solid call. I do think it's worth. I still think it's at very good buying zones. This is, if real world assets continue to play out, you'll see tokens like Ondo and these other real world assets that will continue to garnish the market cap of Bitcoin, especially within these alt seasons.
Yep. Not to be confused with the alt season, which is a good bit ahead of us. But that is a good prediction there, and I do co-sign that we could be in store for a mini alt season, and in many cases we're already seeing it, right? If we look at the bubbles, I mean, this is a mini alt season for HBAR, for Render, for Mantra, for AIOZ, whenever Bitcoin, a good rule of thumb is whenever Bitcoin is sideways, that opens the door to altcoins getting a bid. Why? Well, because what does it mean when Bitcoin's sideways? It means that people are taking profit. It means that they're not buying as aggressively as they were in the previous time frame. So that means that that money is going to be going somewhere, and oftentimes that money goes into altcoins. It makes a ton of sense. Let's go ahead. I'm going to jump into some news here, bros. The first story I have here, public company Semler Scientific buys another 215 Bitcoin, totaled at about $17.7 million per coin. Very, very bullish there. Indeed, extremely, extremely bullish as we see a copycat of the MicroStrategy's business model of just aggressively buying Bitcoin. And speaking of which, MicroStrategies bought an additional 51,780 Bitcoin valued at $4.6 billion. That is a genuine smile on the face there of Michael Saylor. This one's a little mind-boggling. Saylor came out recently and said that their plans to buy, I think it was $42 billion worth of Bitcoin, was accelerated, and now we're seeing that they're putting their money where their mouth is, and Michael Saylor's going ahead and picking up a lot of Bitcoin there. That's it's pretty crazy. Hopefully he's not buying the local top, but he doesn't care because he doesn't care about price. He just cares about how much Bitcoin he can get. And so does this man right here. This is a Polish presidential candidate. Ooh, I don't know if I want Sliwer. I've never seen this character before. I'm not sure what that even is. But let's call him Mr. Mr. Minson, candidate in Poland again for president there, says Poland should also keep its cryptocurrency reserves in Bitcoin. It's an obvious decision. So we've been seeing U.S. states coming out with a kind of copycat bill of what Donald Trump wants to do when he becomes president, of making Bitcoin a treasury reserve currency. And now we're seeing other countries do it. So U.S. states like Pennsylvania, I believe Michigan, and Florida have come out and kind of said some things along those lines, and now we're seeing entire nation states doing it. There's also a country in South America, I think it's Suriname, who has a candidate who's wanting to do something similar as well. Bros, this is a time to be bullish on Bitcoin. This is not a time to be shorting it, I would say, unless you're trying to scalp in a very short amount of time, right? Very short time frame. It also gets bullish not just for Bitcoin, but also for Ethereum here. Eric Buchanan pointing out something happening over in the ETF world for Ethereum. Ethereum ETFs have made a quick and sudden rise from the deep, dark depths of cumulative outflows following the election, finally into fresh air and net inflows. What a chart. So this one here, very bullish, illustrating the cumulative ETF inflows since the launch. And as you can see, it's not been a very pretty picture until recently. So very, very bullish for Ethereum. Of course, we've already talked about altcoin season a little bit here. How do we know when we're in the altcoin season, not just a mini altcoin season? Well, Ethereum will hit its all-time highs and start to eat away at Bitcoin's dominance much more aggressively. We have not seen that. We've not even come close to seeing that quite yet. So that's good information for us, though, because it gives us some degree of certainty of where we are in the cycle. And the conclusion should be altcoins are undervalued. Another asset that's undervalued out there, Tesla. Tesla jumps over 6% following reports that Trump administration plans to ease regulation on autonomous vehicles in the U.S. Very bullish. Of course, this will be bullish for other autonomous vehicle companies as well that have similar aspirations to compete with Tesla, but Tesla has been getting a nice bid from this one, and it's great to see. Now, one thing that you'll be all watching the rest of this week, and we'll be talking about it closer to Wednesday, but we want to mention it to you now because those AI coins are getting a bid. Take a look here. Render up 13.7%, AIOZ up 12.9%. AGIX is not anywhere to be found in this run. That could mean something. That could mean nothing. Just pointing it out there. But it's all because of this. This is pretty big. NVIDIA earnings are expected to be up. And if that happens, you can expect a massive AI pump. An 85% increase year over year will send these 7 altcoins so much higher. We'll be talking about those 7 altcoins later this week on the channel, of course. But AI coins could get a bid here going into the rest of the week. Now, Crux, you had some thoughts that you wanted to share as well. Let's go ahead and jump into those now.
Yeah, so I guess quickly going into the AI narrative, AI is broken into a couple different things. So we talk about NVIDIA, we talk about GPU, we talk about rendering, these kinds of things. AI is broken up into, you have stuff like Tau, which is different than what Render is. Render is a 3D GPU sharing platform that allows you to share your GPU with others and get paid in return.
Yeah.
Tau is more of a machine learning. So we know about ChatGPT and these things. So we noticed that that AGIX wasn't pumping. We noticed that Tau wasn't pumping as hard. Mm-hmm. That's probably because the GPU plays like Render, like IO.net, like Akash. Those are the ones that are pumping due to this. So we could see a shift from, AI starting to merge from, or not merge, but divert into, different categories, and we may have to treat them differently. Just something to pay attention to is, more of these GPU rendering plays are pumping today with NVIDIA reporting earnings on Wednesday.
Absolutely. Well, we're getting Crypto Geo asking for some TA on Render. I'll pull it up. I don't know if we'll have time to go too deep into it, but Crux, you had some thoughts that you wanted to share as well on Cardano and some other crypto news stories as well. So, but we lost him. We are having some issues today with our streaming software. Not sure exactly what it is. It's all the bears. All the bears trying to keep the alpha from the bros, but Crux, I believe, is back. Take it away with the Cardano analysis.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bros. It's crushing me, this internet. Okay, so Cardano surges, bullish rebound sparks, optimism for future upside. The interesting part with these recent pumps, if I come down here, I see that Hedera is pumping. I see that XLM, Algorand Quant, Theta, a lot of projects like VChain, the Graph, that have not shown momentum this cycle. Just remember, it went from Bitcoin, it went to the new shiny objects, and then after those have pumped, that's whenever we're starting to go into these legacy coins. So what I would like to see is a resurgence of legacy coins. I hope that it does happen. But whenever you find an ecosystem that's thriving, three things I like to look for is a DeFi play, a liquidity play, and then a meme coin. So we know that Cardano is doing well as of recently. I think if you look at the number one meme play currently by market cap on Cardano, anytime Cardano is pumping, we'll start seeing tokens like this, right? So SNEC is already broken into its all-time high. It's currently moving. That's the play that I would choose if I'm looking for a meme coin on Cardano. If I'm looking for a DeFi play, I'm going to come over here to Liquid Finance. Liquid Finance is the number one TVL play on Cardano, and it's just, obviously it retraced big time with what Cardano did from its all-time high into throughout the bear market. But we're starting to see a resurgence closer to its cycle high than what Cardano has currently got to. And then lastly, the leading DEX would be MinSwap on Cardano. This would be the liquidity play that I've been talking about. So we know that Cetus is working for Stewie. We know that Uniswap's working for Ethereum. We know PancakeSwap's working for Binance. Joe is working for Avalanche, but MinSwap is the leading DEX on Cardano, and I think it's going to continue to lead. So those are the three things that I'm looking for in the Cardano ecosystem if it continues to pump. And right now you're looking at bargain prices.
Very nice. Very nice. Yes, it is this is probably one of the best times so far in this bull market for Cardano. That there definitely seems to be some momentum growing. The first kind of bit of sunlight that I observed here was when the Bitcoin OS partnership was announced, and they have been able to build on that, right? First, it was, the next big headline was, Charles Hoskinson may spend some time in Washington, having conversations with the new administration. That's bullish. Don't know exactly what that means, but it didn't matter. Bulls bought the coin on that news. So they have been able to capitalize on that, build momentum, and that is really, really good to see for the Cardano holders, of which I am one. So it's nice to see that for sure. All right, the all-time high for Render was $13.53. As I'm looking here on the 4-hour chart, let me get off of that and go down to the daily chart instead and show you guys what I'm thinking here. Can we get to all-time highs before the end of the year was a question that was asked by Moonwalker. Do you think Render sees its all-time high again by the end of the year? I'm going to give you a tentative no, but maybe the charts will say different. So first of all, let's measure how much of a move that would be. So basically a 75% move, but not quite all the way to the candles. It's only a 68% move. That can happen. That can definitely happen in all coins. All it needs to do is, 3 30% days, right? Or 6 15% days with no down days. I think it's very, very possible that we get up there because anything can happen in altcoins, right? If we do start to see Bitcoin roll over and that Bitcoin dominance start to roll over, that could go ahead and spawn an altcoin season. And then Ethereum pumps to all-time highs. We definitely could see any altcoin that you've ever heard the name of start to pump real hard, and Render would definitely be among them. So is it possible? I definitely think it's possible. However, I think that there's been many coins that have gotten more excitement, gotten more allocation. Sui comes to mind. Solana definitely comes to mind. And in the AI space, but I think in the AI space, from my perspective, Tau and Render are the leading cryptos, they have the biggest, the most momentum, and the most allocation as well. So we got about 3 minutes left in the show. That's my analysis here, looking at Render's oscillator reading. It's looking pretty healthy. I mean, if we can get this money flow back in the green, that's going to get a lot of investors on board, interested. We are technically still pretty oversold for Render's oscillator history here. I would imagine that if we look back in history, the times where we've gotten reversal dots above the 80 line it has not been very bullish from there, and that would be accurate there, and it would also be accurate here. For those of you who don't know exactly what I'm talking about, this is a Lux Algo Oscillator Matrix. Is a proprietary indicator that helps me track the momentum of the price. A lot of traders look at just price, but when you work with Lux Algo indicators, you actually can gain a deeper perspective, more information that gives you an edge against traders who are not using that information. How can you get your hands on that? Look no further than the description of the very video you're watching right now. Check out Lux Algo. Right now it's actually 20% off as well. Just by clicking this link, you will get access to Lux Algo, and you'll get access to our VIP trading hub. This is the BroLux membership. All you have to do is get the Lux Algo indicator, which I already showed you is really, really helpful. A lot of people who use it are able to make back in profits from trading the fee for Lux Algo itself. So go ahead and check it out today. Crux, you've been shouting out a lot of great calls here. Mantra, you shouted out last week. We talk about these types of callouts as well in our X Spaces, which we'll be doing tonight at 8 Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as a live show today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tim's been feeling a little under the weather, but we're all really hoping that he's going to be great. If not, I'll be going live by myself. Maybe Crux will tag along. We'll see. But otherwise, that is our schedule for the rest of the day. 3 p.m. live stream and an 8 p.m. Spaces over on our X account. Now, if you cannot get enough crypto, you don't have to just watch one stream a day, right? We also have our BroLux memberships, which I just mentioned to you all. If you're not ready to make that investment, because this is a paid tier of our trading and investing community here at Investing Bros, you can get the free Discord where you can ask as many questions as you'd like, and folks will give you an answer from our community. The BroLux memberships come with a whole lot more than just a free general chat. So Crux, as we close out here, any closing thoughts for the bros?
Yeah, if Tim's not around for the afternoon show, I'd definitely like to be here with the bros. And, spreading alpha is what I'm here to do this cycle. Last bull market was my learning bull market. This bull market, I'm here to spread the knowledge that I got in crypto. So appreciate you, having me on again. The bears are after me. They keep rugging me. But we're going to get through this. I'm going to restart my internet after this, just in case it is on my end. And the afternoon stream will be lit. So
very, very cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, bros. Be praying for Tim. Smay makes a great point here. Hit the like and pray for Tim. That's a different comment. Where did he say that? I don't know. Hit that like and keep the bears away. Smay edited his. Oh, here it is. Pray for Tim and smash the like. So thank you, Smay. Absolutely. Pray for Tim, for him to be at 100%. I just came off vacation. I visited some friends in Nebraska. I'm feeling great. I'm just, when you feel rested and you feel focused,
right?
I feel great. Now I'm moving this week, right? So there's going to be a lot of tumult, a lot of chaos, but we're going to push through it, and we're going to come out stronger on the other side. Crux, thank you so much for joining me. Well, want to leave you all with a little bit of a thought for the day as we close. Make sure that you all are practicing good risk management. If you are invested more than you can afford to lose, meaning you have $10,000 to your name and all $10,000 is invested in Bitcoin, that is bad. Even though Bitcoin is the best coin, in my opinion, by far, it doesn't mean that you should put all of your money into it, right? Make sure that you have enough money to pay rent, to put food on the table, to pay for medical expenses, and to have an emergency fund as well. Proper risk management is not just a good idea, it is 100% required for success of your financial future. Don't think that you're going to be one of the lucky ones that gets away with being over leveraged in this market. You don't want to do that. If you have 10,000, just put 1 or 2,000 into the markets, whether you're going to invest in bonds, Bitcoin, or MicroStrategies, or whatever it's going to be. Make sure that you practice proper risk management. Crux does it. Tim does it. I definitely do it. And I really hope that you are out there doing it too, because we want the best for the bros. Crux, we'll see you all at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Adios.